What's going on, everyone? Steven the Lagged Gamer here, battling a little bit of a cold, so bear with me, but we recently got some great news that Final Fantasy 15 was coming out this year on September 30th. They gave us a release date, and they released a brand new demo for it as well, the Platinum Demo for Final Fantasy 15. So I figured in this video I wanted to talk about what I liked and did not like between the two demos that kind of came out for Final Fantasy over the past year or so. Episode Dusuke, I had an update 2.0. I never played the original update or 1.0 version of it, just this 2.0 one a couple days ago. So I figured I'd share with you guys what I liked, did not like, and maybe some changes I'd like to see or some refinements. For the most part, though, both demos, I had a really good time with it. The Platinum demo was more, I think that was more, they both seemed like tech demos to show stuff off for the game, especially the Platinum demo, walking around as the main character Noct, just in a dream world as a kid, and just showing you visually what the game can do. And I think both games just look beautiful. Like the graphics visually, it just looks great. It sounds great. The music and everything, the banter between characters and episode Dusuke and stuff, just really sounded good. The voice acting, but I think like that Platinum demo really was to show off kind of graphically what the game can do too, especially with the change of weather mechanics and stuff in the game, where you can go to change weather, transform into a monster and stuff, into a car, just to kind of show what this engine and everything can do that Square is working with. And I was really impressed. Visually, it's really good. It's a beautiful looking game. Now the Platinum demo was more of a corridor type game. Just going through kind of hallways and work your way to the main objective. And Dusuke was more of this open landscape, and you're just exploring this open map that you have a bunch of quests for. Now, of course, the game is probably going to lean more along the lines of episode Dusuke, where it's going to be that open setting, which is, part of me loves the concept of having an open map and you going around and exploring. That's fun stuff. But I also I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy, the 13 series. I love 13, 13-2. I kind of love how there's just one way to go and I know where to go. I don't need to go exploring all these different maps, because ultimately in every RPG you're ending up in one spot anywhere. I guess just some people like to be able to go left and right instead of straight to get to that spot. I just like to get to the spot, continue the story, and keep going. But the way episode Dusuke was doing it, it's more welcoming. If you have an open world game or huge open maps, I like having waypoints, and the waypoint system in the game, they're doing really good. It's something that is very welcome, because if you have a quest you need to do, just pick that quest and it'll put a waypoint out for you. Just go to that waypoint. And also along the way, instead of just saying it's holding your hand the whole time, you can still have incentive to explore these open worlds, because while you're exploring these open areas, you could discover a new quest that's not going to be on a waypoint system, or you can run into an item or a landmark that could lead into another quest. So it doesn't just hold your hand. There's still incentive to go out and to explore the open world for those people who really like doing that, searching every nook and cranny and getting the most out of the game in that sense. So episode Dusuke, I thought, did it real well with the waypoint system and how I could pick my quest and just traveling to the waypoint system to proceed further with it. I really enjoyed that. And the main thing here that's different, other than in the sense of the open world and then the corridors and stuff, is the combat system. Now they're leaning more toward an action-based combat system into Final Fantasy 15, and that's something I'm more than welcome to, because I'm a fan of the Tales series, and I have come to really enjoy the combat system in the Tales series with that action kind of combat, hack and slash. This feels different though in this game. Episode Dusuke was it was a little confusing with. It's not confusing the combat system. It's just how they did the weapon layout. You either put a weapon first in your attack category, then you rearrange weapons or something in the category. But it always seemed like I was using a sword. Like, I put the lance first, but the lance was never coming out when I wanted to attack. Wasn't quite sure how to get it working. Maybe need to experiment with some more, but it seemed like my sword was the only weapon ever coming out. I would hit the D-pad and nothing was changing. And you're basically just holding down square button while you're hacking and slashing an enemy, and you can hold it down, it tracks onto the enemy until you pretty much beat it. There's also a dodge mechanic in the game and a parry mechanic in the game, but I found like I hardly ever had to use it. I'm kind of torn with that system that Duske presented, because while most RPGs are just played with one button, you're just using one button to play an RPG most time in a turn-based game. You're hitting circle or X to initiate a command and then initiate the command. That's pretty much how it goes. What's really cool with the Tales system is how you can combo your attacks and chain them with your arts and just keep combos going and going and going, using more arts and more arts. The way this Duske system is working, you're blocking and you have skills you could use in the game that are mapped to triangle, are all mapped to your MP, your magic power. And it was interesting because episode Duske didn't have any like real magic in it, like fire or Blizzaga or nothing like that was in the game. You had more of these strikes you could use with the weapons you had. There was a dragon jump attack where you just jump in the air with your lance and come down and smash a group of enemies. There's a tempest attack where you have this great sword and you just swing it real wide and hit enemies with it. More skill-based attacks, it seemed like, but nothing magic-based. And it was all using the MP. The Platinum demo changed things up a bit. It mapped all the weapons to the D-pad, so you could switch between a hammer or sword or a magic attack. It had a magic attacks in this game, or a magic grenade, you can kind of say, in the game. I kind of liked that concept better because you could switch weapons on the fly, comboing certain things into each other, and then when you use the magic power, the magic ability felt great. Like, it felt like it really did damage. I think it was like a fire grenade. I thought there was some lightning ones in there too, but you could just throw it, and if you threw it and it hit the enemy, it caused massive damage, and if it missed, you still left a pool of fire on the ground they could walk in and stuff and still get damage done to them. The only thing I didn't like about that is it seems like it's kind of going back to Final Fantasy VIII, where you have a limited number of uses on the spell. Like, only what you can find of it is what you can use, kind of like you did in that game. You had to have an inventory of the spell in order to use it. I don't like that. But you don't know which way they're going to go now. I don't know which kind of system they're going to use. Are they going to use a combat from Platinum demo? Or are they going to use a combat from the episode Duske demo? Because I kind of like how you could switch your weapons on the fly like that in the new demo. But in the old demo, I kind of liked how you have MP meter, but it recharged really quick so you could use your abilities and stuff as often as you want, and how they're going to incorporate magic into that. It'll be weird because that's how you switched your skills in episode Duske, was with the D-pad. That's how you switch, well, which attack you want to do at triangle. So you can't really switch weapons on the fly if that's how your skills and stuff are mapped out. I'm sorry, I'm really stuffed up, so I'm sounding congested. So I don't know how which system's going to be the actual one we're getting. I just know there was things I liked about the Platinum combat system, and there are things I like about the Duske system. It just feels, I don't know, as far as the combat, there were enemies in the episode Duske one where there's these little dogs that roam around that you're trying, that's like the main enemy in the game. I forget the real name. And at times, I just could not catch them. You could use a warp strike to catch up to the enemy and then try to hit them, but by the time I warped to them, they'd still be running around again. There's some goblins in the game that did the same thing. I was having trouble even being able to hit them. That was getting complicated. A little bit easier to track enemies and stuff in the Platinum demo. So it seems like they kind of refined some stuff in the Platinum demo with the combat. But I just don't know which one we're getting. That's what's kind of confusing now. Which one are we actually getting as far as the combat system? I'd like to see something along the lines where the Platinum demo was more free flowing, switching out your weapons and stuff, everything mapped to D-pad like that. I kind of like that system a little bit better than the Disque system, if they go with that. But how could you incorporate more abilities than just 4 attacks, like to the D-pad? There's got to be the way to incorporate more like skill attacks and magic attacks and stuff than just the 4, which I'm sure they'll figure out, whether they map something to the trigger and hold down face buttons. I mean, if you want to go an action route, there's so many different ways you could go. There's so many action RPGs out there these days that use all the face buttons as attacks, hold the trigger down, and you get a bunch of new attacks for that, such as Dragon Age and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind if Final Fantasy went to a system like that, but still incorporated RPG elements and stuff. I wouldn't mind if it did that. Map your Blizzard, your Blizzaga, your Firaga, and all your cures to buttons like that. Kind of like playing Final Fantasy 14 like an MMO, how they made it work on a controller. I wouldn't mind if it went to something fast-paced and action like that. How could they get it? They showed they could get it to work on Final Fantasy 14, and people are loving that game as far as an MMO. I know people don't like playing MMO games single player, but as far as the combat system in that, it seems like a good action-based RPG combat system. What's in the MMO? So I don't know. That's where I'm kind of torn on. I'm really looking forward to the game. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for it to come out because it looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful. But just kind of getting the finishing touches on the combat and seeing which way they're actually going to go is what I'm kind of on pins and needles about. I don't know what kind of combat system we're getting with. Is it just going to be hack and slash, hold down enemies? Is it going to be a lot of in-depth strategy and stuff? Episode Duska had the chain attacks that you could commence in there that were really cool, but they kind of appeared at random. I didn't know how to get the chain attack to initiate. It just kind of, there'd be a yellow circle there where you could walk into, and boom, you could start initiating the chain attack. And those are really cool. So we'll see what kind of concepts they incorporate into the final version. I'm not sure what we're going to get. All I know is I can't wait because the game is looking phenomenal as far as visually and sounding good. The characters are the only other thing that was kind of, because it looked like with all the all-black get-up, Final Fantasy's good at really making each individual character stick out on its own. Whether it be with a different color palette or just a personality. 15 is kind of looking like just more personality based. Of course, they all have their different look. They're all in black, but they have like different outfits on. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm really digging that kind of look or vibe to them. It kind of seemed they all fit the perfect mold of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Like each of them fit perfectly. It's just they're in all black. The lead character being Leonardo, his I forget all the names, but the training buddy being Raphael, and the nerdy kind of guy being Donatello, and then the blonde dude like fit Michelangelo perfectly. I felt like they were the Ninja Turtles, but just dressed in black, kind of emo looking. But I don't mind their look that much. It's just kind of weird seeing it be like that instead of how most other Final Fantasy games. I mean, there's so much variety in the difference of how the characters look. So I don't know. We'll see. But for the most part, I'm really excited about it. Can't wait. This cold's really starting to get to me. I'm getting really clogged up now, so I might as well wrap this video up. But yeah, I'd like to see some refinements in the combat or see which version we're actually going to get. If it stays either way, the ones we're at, I'll be fine with it. I'll still enjoy it because I like action-based type of systems. But for the most part, I think it's shaping up to be really good. The other thing that's curious, they're calling them Your Highness. Other than the demos, I don't look this game up or nothing. And I'm wondering how the Your Highness thing, if he's Prince of a Kingdom or something, or what's going to happen with the story. I'm really intrigued to see where it's going to go. So we'll see. Only the future will tell when it comes out. So that's about it. Like a gamer, like out.